So you just got back from Tempe, Arizona, just like we did at the Innings Festival. So you got to perform at that. How was your experience at Innings?
Oh my God. It was the most fun I have ever had. I got to drive a golf cart for the first time in my life. I was so excited. Like, that's just always been a dream of mine, like to be, ever since I've seen like One Direction be like in the back of the arenas backstage, and they're just like driving around in their little carts. It was just such a like random personal goal of mine. And I got to see like 21 Pilots at the end, which was so full circle because I auditioned for American Idol originally with the song Ride, and to see Tyler Joseph walk right past me while he's singing Ride was crazy. I felt like I was about to enter psychosis or something. I was amazing.
I wouldn't have put that on the bingo card that you would have said when I asked you about your experience at Innings, that riding on a golf cart would have been at the top of your list of the first thing you talked about. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I can picture. I hope you got video of you.
Oh yeah, I did.
Around.
I made that moment. I was like, and they gave me a lot of trust. They were literally letting me move that around.
You know what? The organizers are great there. They treat the media very well. I think they treat all the patrons well. So it's nice to see that they have trust in the artists to go around on a golf cart too.
So peaceful and nice, and the bridge lit up with rainbow colors at the end, and it was such a supportive vibe. And I got a trailer. Like, these were all things that these don't happen every day. You can only hope. So like Innings was just like, oh, it just felt like dreams were coming true.
100%. So you mentioned that you got to watch 21 Pilots, who we saw them, and they're setting the bar at another level. They're an amazing band. But did you get the chance to mingle around backstage with any of the other artists?
Well, I would just skip around. You know, I was just frolicking around and petting the bomb-sniffing dogs, and then sometimes I'd pass a guy in a leather jacket, and I would just be like, la, la, la. I just could not sit still enough to really have meaningful conversations, because I was zipping from here to there to everywhere. I got to see Dashboard Confessional for the first time. That was like insane, just to pay homage to just songwriting legends and like inspirations. And I didn't really spend a lot of time backstage. I was just so excited to get out and about, and the free drinks really helped. And so I got to go my way. Yeah.
We had another interview, I think, so we got a chance to see part of your main stage set and then part of your like secondary set that you did on the left field stage. So we heard you talking to them that you were going to have some more time to share stories and talk to the audience a little bit more during that second set. So tell me a bit about that.
I love to talk, as you can know, but a lot of my talking is kind of aimless, but you have to listen to then get to like what I'm even trying to say, but that takes a little bit. So on the main stage, it's very timed, and so I was kind of keeping a mental note to myself, like I cannot tell everybody my misfortunes and dating and everything like right now. So it was really nice to go to the Jersey Mike stage and just like let loose and hear what orders people get in the audience. And I'm like, Jersey Mike's, and I remember this guy just saying, I get a number 7, and everyone just went around. It was so communal and fun, and I just love gabbing and making a crowd just feel like they're at a bar mitzvah and I have like a microphone or something, and I'm just like, or public speaking. I love that vibe.
As I mentioned, so I did get the chance to catch some of your Innings performance, and I managed to take a couple notes. Like, we're kind of bobbing around from stage to stage. So I took a couple notes of your performance, and I wanted to share it with you, exactly what I wrote. So I wrote 2 lines in like the maybe 5 minutes that I was able to catch of your set. So the first line that I wrote, sounds like an angel.
Oh.
And then the next line that I wrote, turned into a screaming banshee on the stage. So tell me a little bit about your sound, Catie, and your style and your powerful and kind of contrasting emotions that you bring with your performances.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I feel like music is really the only place where I can make sense to myself, because I feel all these things and I don't even know what I'm feeling half the time. And the only way I can even know how I was feeling is if it's in a song. And then halfway through, I realized, oh, I guess that thing really pissed me off because now I'm singing about it. And that's usually just how it works. And so that's kind of where I feel like I can discover the most about myself. I feel like I have the most self-discovery on stage, and I get to walk off afterwards and just feel like I left with a little bit more inner knowing of who I am or what I want to do or who I want to be. And that, I think, is you can feel in my performances.
So I could feel that in the short time I was able to watch it. I could definitely feel that. How do you do that when you're with your recorded music, Catie? How does that translate when you're writing and putting music together?
Well, it usually starts with I'm either alone or with a trusted other in the room, and it always starts with how everything starts with talking. And then, I'm not the best investigator. I have to sometimes just keep talking, and then I go, wait a minute. Oh, that's strange. Oh, that was weird. I guess that's how I felt about it. And then literally within the process of writing the songs, I'm like picking apart down to the root of what I really felt about something and how it makes me feel about them, and then how it makes me feel towards myself. And I'm just like I'm mining down to like just my innermost private parts. And so, that's usually how I approach recording, just getting a feeling that I'm confused about, but it makes me want to throw up, and then putting words to why it makes me want to throw up.
Who do you work with, Catie, to put everything together? Obviously, you come up with the inspiration, then the words, but where does the music all come from?
Well, it comes with, I've been lucky enough to work with some incredible, amazing producers throughout all my time in LA. And so a lot of those songs on the stage were from a period of time I worked extensively with my friend in Nashville named Ruslan. And he is just so sweet, him and his wife. And they would come from me going to his house every day and him making me coffee, and just like, God bless Ruslan, because he was letting this 20-something-year-old girl who was like just a spitfiring, and I'm just like, la, 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 and he just would give me coffee and let me sit on his chair, and he'd be like, they're a therapist pretty much. And then I have my friend Caro, who's her own artist named Caro Bay, and she's done more of my recent stuff, and it's been so amazing to work with a woman and to be understood on that level as well. And I feel so lucky that I get to make music first and foremost with my friends, and I feel like it helps them understand me better as well, like inadvertently through the process of me getting to the bottom of my feelings. Everyone kind of leaves with a better understanding of who I am. So it feels very safe to be vulnerable in those spaces.
Right on. Well, thanks for sharing that, Catie. And right before Innings, speaking of your music, you released a new single, Hurt You Now. Tell me a bit about that track and what inspired that song. Once
upon a time, I was crazy. It always starts with that. And I was 19, so I was like really crazy. You know how it is. And I was broken up with, and obviously it's your first heartbreak, and you're so pissed and you hate them. And I'm having temper tantrums, and online I'm crashing out. I'm like, I guess they never loved me at all. And then you realize, actually, that was the greatest gift they ever could have given me, because if they didn't leave, I wouldn't have done this and this and this and this. So actually it was an act of love. And you're like, oh, okay, I see it now. But then it really sucks when you have to do that to somebody else, and knowing that you're going to have to hurt somebody else for a period of time and hope that maybe one day they understand why you had to leave for you and them to get better. And that was the inspiration. I was going through this weird rough patch in a friendship where just we weren't healthy for each other. And so I hated that I had to potentially hurt them, knowing that maybe they would never see or understand why I had to do it, or maybe they would, but I just had to take that risk. And that's what Hurt You Now is about.
I've talked to other artists that really pour their feelings, their emotions, I think that the things that they've went through into their music. It's recorded and becomes their, your catalog of music. So how does it feel performing those songs afterwards and for years afterwards? Does it feel like you're kind of ripping off a Band-Aid of an old wound or an old feeling kind of thing? How does that feel for you?
It's nice that they get to exist forever frozen in time, and you can either choose to observe them or choose to fully just immerse yourself back into the feeling. Like when I sing a song I wrote called Home, that's on acoustic guitar, I wrote that about my first love, and I can, at that point in time, I can choose to perform it from my present day and just be like, that's really nice, I was so in love. Or if I really want to, I can tap back in and I can just put my whole heart in it. And it just feels really nice that you get to have all these doors to old versions of yourself that you can either walk in or just observe at any point in time. And it feels really special that I have such a trail of who I was and who I have become, just so easily accessible.
You've had a very unique start to your career, and you already mentioned like taking part in American Idol. Tell me about that experience. You know, similar to what we're just talking about. What does that, looking back now, like to present day, what does that mean to you when you're reflecting?
I mean, it means everything. American Idol, I always say, it started not just my musical life, but my life. I learned how to be a human in 6 months of exposure therapy. I learned conflict. I learned how to put myself out there. I learned stress management, like everything all wrapped in a bow, everything happening so quickly. And it was like, it just put me out into the world. And so I always feel like I'll owe American Idol their due for not making me necessarily who I am, but they shaped me into who I became and am becoming, because they gave me the greatest gift of all, which was taking a girl who had major stage fright and forcing her on a stage. I will always thank them for that.
Right on. No, that's amazing. So getting back to music and now, so you've released a bunch of singles and EPs. So what are you working on for 2026, Catie?
Well, I'm working on just the past 2 years since getting off a label. I've been independent and I've been figuring out who I am and writing a bunch of songs and getting back to myself and what I want to say, and without other people's opinions. Like I kind of lost me at the center of it. And so I'm working on releasing a project this year of just putting all those songs I wrote independently and just putting them all together and just showing people like kind of the return back to myself and my sound and how I fell back in love with music and what I do.
Well, we'll look forward to that. And is there going to be some more shows in the works as well?
That's always what I can hope for. So as long as I am breathing, I hope there is a show where I can skip around in a little dress on stage. It is magical. So yes.
Well, hopefully that they'll be able to give you a golf cart at your next show too, or your next festival,
I know.
Right?
They should let me drive on stage in the golf cart.
That's a goal. That's a life goal right there, right? Right on. Well, I'll tell you what, Catie, we'll stay tuned to your website, catieturner.com, all your social media channels for updates. And thank you so much, Catie, for taking time with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.